Let's talk about Suomenusko. Tietäjät didn't pray, they used syntysanat, origin spells. To control something, you recited how it was created. For example, to stop bleeding, you invoked iron's birth, because if you knew where iron came from, you could command it to stop harming. Iron had a full myth cycle. It was described as being born from milk, fire, and swamp. Before using iron tools, you acknowledged its origin so it wouldn't turn against you. Beijaiset, bear rituals, were extremely structured. After the feast, the bear's skull and sometimes other bones were placed in a bear pine. Karhuhonka was usually a mature, high, isolated pine tree. Placing the skull high was supposed to help the bear spirit to climb back into the sky. The ritual songs often claimed that the bear's death was an accident rather than being hunted by humans. The bear had dozens of names. Using the real name was avoided to prevent summoning it unintentionally. Linguists believe the original taboo name was oksi. Even the modern Finnish word for bear, karhu, is euphemism. It originally meant rough-furred. Tapio's Rome included specific roles. The forest wasn't just one entity. Hunters performed forest opening rituals. If unsuccessful, it was described as the forest closing its doors. Ahti controlled fish and the nets. If your nets failed, it meant they were spiritually tangled. It was often seen as a sign that the fisherman had offended Ahti or other spirits through disrespect, such as making noise, cursing, or fighting near the water. Fishing rituals included returning the first catch. The dead went to Tuonela. Crossing required navigating a river. In some traditions, the ferry woman, Tuonen tytti, refused strangers or the unprepared. Tuoni's world wasn't moral. It was stagnant, cold, and final, but still structured like the living world. It's guarded by a black swan that sings death spells. Contacting the dead required controlled trance. Uncontrolled contact was considered dangerous contamination. Disease wasn't random. It could be sent, caught, or spiritually misplaced. Some illnesses were classified as from the forest, others from the dead. Treatment depended on origin. Healing often involved physically going to liminal spaces, graveyards, crossroads, water edges. Location mattered as much as words. Sauna rules included specific behavioral rules. No loud arguing, no disrespect. Saunatonttu was treated as a resident, not just symbol. Saunas were used for birth and death prep. Snakes were tied to both healing and death. Certain spells required physical components like iron, water, or blood. Forgetting a spell meant losing access to control that aspect of reality. Christianity replaced the names but kept the structures. Spells invoking Ukko were rewritten to reference the Christian god. But the method stayed identical. That's why a lot of folk magic in Finland uses pre-Christian logic with Christian wording. To finish, here is loitsu for pain. Kipu kipu kälviäinen, pistos paise pakkanen. Lähe pois minun lihasta, verestäni vierahaksi. Mene muille maille tästä, älä tänne ennätä. Äläkä palaja takaisin.